Okay, next one, we're gonna start working towards our single legs from a half guard situation, okay? Obviously, I've been teaching you guys a lot of single leg material from standing, and that's all great. You should develop a really good single leg from a standing position. As a matter of fact, I think the single leg from standing position is probably the most realistic leg tackle for a person to develop before double legs, high crotches, or any other type of leg tackle. I'm not saying you guys can't develop those other leg tackles before you develop a single leg. I'm just saying, generally speaking, for a beginner, it's typically harder to develop a good double leg before you develop a good single, okay? And from half guard is, I mean, I've hit more single legs from half guard than I can count, okay? I've hit far more single legs from a bottom half guard than I ever have or probably ever will from a standing position. And that's because in reality, you already have one of your opponent's legs controlled with your guard itself, okay? So it's just a matter of learning how to transition the control from the lower body to the upper body. That's it. If you can develop consistent ways of transitioning your control from the lower body to the upper body, you guys are going to find you'll be entering single legs a ton from bottom half guard. So from here, I'm in a half guard situation. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to insert my top knee shield in my opponent's top deltoid. I'm going to take my right hand and place it over my knee. As he's pushing in, I'm going to go ahead and extend my leg through. Because my hand is on my own knee, it's one unit. What I don't want to do is I don't want to extend my knee through and then try to punch my hand in. That gives my opponent time to drop his shoulder. I put my own hand on my own knee. As I slip everything through, my hand and my knee go through as one unit. I slip, I take my elbow to my opponent's armpit, I shuck everything up and overhead, and now from here I start to set my tight waist, okay? Now from here, take this knee out wide. Good. From here I'm going to start to develop a lower leg shift. I take my right leg up and over, and I hunt my opponent's ankle. As I rake his ankle back, I take my left leg out, and I back heel to take my opponent's ankle high off the mat. I don't want his ankle low. His ankle low, there's no control here. Ankle high, a lot of control here. From here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to scissor my legs and allow his knee to slip to the front of my hip. Now, I take my right hand and I drop below his ass, okay? So I don't want to grip at the waist if I'm going to build up to a single. I don't want to grip his ass. I want to grip at the hamstring level, okay? That's where I want it to be. Now, my left elbow is going to come to inside position. Do not try to build with your left elbow out here, okay? You're going to feel the strength of his wizard. Take your left elbow to inside position. From here, scissor your legs back. Build to your knee and forehead first. So first we build to our knee and our forehead. Then with my forehead posted on my mat, I take my left hand out, I post on the mat, and I build height. Now we're in this situation here where my right hand is down by my opponent's hamstring. My left hand is on the mat, basically a hand post single situation. But I still have his leg controlled with my right leg. So I have my Kosoto hook in. Now what I'm going to look to do here to further weaken his whizzer is to drop my right elbow to the mat. You guys have learned this before, and I'm sure you guys are familiar with it. What I'm going to do from here is I'm going to start to sink my weight, start to look for my right elbow to the mat. If you can't get your right elbow to the mat right off the bat, start to posture up to a split squat, blade your knee, and start to rake his ankle out, okay? So as I blade my knee, I rake his ankle out. That will allow my right elbow to drop to the mat. When my right elbow drops to the mat, I place my head over that elbow. That puts weight on it. I rake, I capture my opponent's toes, and I place his leg inside the shelf. I switch my hands, I come up, and now I'm in this leg shelf situation. Off of this leg shelf, I build to my feet, I find the far leg, I circle, 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 flatten my opponent out, cover him, and now from here we're in a great position to attack. So one more time. Same leg, Drew, but head facing this way. Good, I'm in a half guard situation. Insert a high knee shield, hand on my knee. I extend everything through, I shoot. My elbow hits his armpit, like that, okay? As my elbow hits his armpit, I set my tight waist. Now, from here, I take my right leg, rake, one, slip the other leg out two. So I passed it from my inside leg to my outside leg. This is called a Kosoto hook, okay? So if I tell you, hey, Kosoto hook, Troy, that's what I mean, okay? From here, scissor, and place his knee on the mat in front of your hip, okay? Now from here, what I want you guys to do is take your elbow, inside position, take your hand below the line of his ass. I scissor, build, forehead post on the mat. Don't try to build to your hand with your forehead off the mat. You'll never do it. There's nothing to bear your weight. Put your forehead on the mat, Build to your knees and forehead. Put your hand on the mat. Build height. Once I'm in this higher position, I start to look for my elbow to sink to the mat. You might not be able to do it right off the bat. No problem. I posture up. I use my knee to rake his ankle across. That allows my elbow to come down to the mat. I place weight on that elbow. So if Drew tries to turn back into me, he shouldn't be able to. If your opponent can turn back into you, you're not putting enough weight on the elbow. Put weight on the elbow, rake, shelf. Pass it off. Now you're in the shelf position. Find the far leg, circle, 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 flatten, and cover. On 3, 1, 2, 3.